2017 is called to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call.
Councilman Bodier.
Present.
Councilman Benton.
Present.
Councilman Hewitt. Present. Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Wheeler.
Present.
Mayor Maselli.
Present.
Police Chief Walker.
Here.
Fire Chief St. Cyr is absent. City Attorney Burris is absent. City CPA Linda Lulu. Present. And Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee. Present.
This hearing is necessary to meet the legal requirements to adopt the reassessed millage and roll it forward. Madam Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
To consider and vote on levying additional or increased millage rates without further voter approval or adopting the adjusted millage rates after reassessment and rolling forward to rates not to exceed the prior year's maximum. The estimated amount of tax revenues to be collected in the next year from the increased millage is $2,125,402, and the amount of increase in taxes attributable to the millage increase is $20,871.44.
Do I have a motion to open a public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor? Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. It's open a public hearing if anyone would like to come and speak to this issue. If there's no one here to speak, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion about the issue? Being that there is no further discussion, do I have a motion to adjourn the hearing?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes. We did state that we were starting at 5:40, so I'd like to give everyone that amount of time to come since we were quicker than we thought.
Okay.
Is that okay with
Sure.
everyone? All right, so we will adjourn until 5:40. Good evening. The regular council meeting of May 30th, 2017 is called to order at 5:45 p.m. I'd like to just mention that yesterday was Memorial Day, and in light of that fact, I've asked 2 of our very own veterans to lead us in the pledge tonight, and they have been willing to come. Mr. Arthur Arsenault, who everyone knows, and Mr. Sal Manikowsko, Salvador John, he goes by Sam, and so they both served our country honorably. They lost a lot of friends in the war, and we are esteemed to have them here tonight. So gentlemen, if you don't mind coming up to the podium and leading us in the pledge.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I brought a little encouragement with me.
He's stronger than I.
You want to stand right? Come forward a little bit.
I pledge
I
allegiance
pledge allegiance
to the flag
to the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for your service.
good to be here.
It's good to have you. Thank you.
Correct. Correct.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Bodier. Councilman Benton.
Present.
Councilman Hewitt.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Wheeler.
Present.
Mayor Maselli.
Present.
Police Chief Walker. Fire Chief St. Cyr. City Attorney Burris. City CPA Linda Lulu. Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee. Present.
I'd like to just make a few announcements. At the Archdiocese of New Orleans CYO Youth Adult Ministry Awards Leadership Celebration held on Sunday, April 23rd, 2017, 3 young people from Harahan, St. Rita's Parish, were honored. Receiving the Adult Service Award for contributions of 5 years or more in service to youth ministry was Margaret Flynn. Receiving Parish Youth Leadership Award for recognition of leadership in local parish setting was Jarrett Tunglet and Thomas Sagona. I'd like to thank and recognize our Harahan resident. Recently, our parish, our Catholic parish, lost Father John Arnone, personal friend to many in the community and to me. He meant and still means a lot to us. The amount of people who showed up at his ceremony, his funeral and his wake and everything was astounding. And person after person we talked to had some of the most beautiful stories about Father. When I first took office, I'd like to share that I asked him to pray for us in our city. And he always did. And I think he's in a position to watch over us even more. I want to recall his words to live by: be happy and live life to the fullest. I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember Father John and always keep him in our thoughts and our prayers. Thank you. I'd like to just make a small announcement, a reminder about garbage. I would like to remind everyone to bundle their yard waste. When it's not bundled, when there's a wind or a rain, it can easily get into our drains and prevent city streets from draining properly. And if it rains heavy enough, potentially even cause flooding in some people's homes. So please bundle your yard waste so that we can protect our drainage system. Also tonight on the agenda we have proposals to consider allocating funds from capital for 2 major projects, and I look for the council for guidance on how they would like to do this. One is for a drainage problem. We have continued drainage problem on McHugh, Donellan, and Sedgefield, where many people have water. They fear water in their homes. That project's about $500,000. And also in the VFW area, those streets really are in desperate need of repair, and that's another $250,000 to $300,000. So I'm asking this council to look at this and see how we can look at our budget over the next 2 years to move forward and how they would like to prioritize things. I'd also like to ask the council to amend the agenda to add our city engineer, Mr. Calvin Hotmeyer, under special presentations number 1. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Hewitt. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We had 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And
Motion passes.
I would like to withdraw ordinance 2017-7
Okay,
from
withdrawn.
the agenda.
Thank you, withdrawn.
Which one?
2017-7.
Okay. We will now go on to special presentations, pardon me. Mr. Calvin Hotmeyer. Can we give him back that? Yes, thank you.
Good evening. Name's Calvin Hotmeyer, I work for Stewart Consulting, and I'm your contracted city engineer. An update to our sewer rehab program. The manholes were about 60% done, and we should be complete in July as scheduled. Weather permitting, there will be some street closures this Thursday night on St. Cyr and on Chris Law near Jefferson Highway. We're working with the police department to get a detail out there to work those operations. The gravity sewer repairs are beginning active construction probably in late June. The preliminary work of videoing both the neighborhoods and the inside the pipes has begun. At the end of the week, we are currently scheduling a main line cleaning crew for the drain lines at Stoneleigh and Donnellan. That is part of a LAGAP program that funded that cleaning. As the mayor said, we are developing contracts for road rehabilitation along VFW Boulevard, Prados, Kielman, Marquette, and East Avenue. And again, that's a $250,000 to $300,000 asphalt overlay project. The other project we are developing is a drainage improvements on Salon Drive area and McHugh. That is based on the previously developed master plan and is potentially a $500,000 construction project.
Mr. Hotmeyer, can you explain the problem with the stormwater or water moving from the south side of the highway to the north side of the highway and the SCADA device?
In general, the problem appears to be crossings of Jefferson Highway are smaller than needed. We're trying to get DOTD to look into those improvements along with Jefferson Parish. There are a number of crossings throughout Harahan, getting the water from the south side of Jefferson to the north side so it can get into the new pump station that's not yet operational is going to take some time. But again, that hopefully will go operational before the end of the year. The last part of their construction is control wires that are being pulled from the river back to the pump station. And last time I talked to the Corps last week, they were still arguing over that change order with the contractor and dealing with that. So they're probably 3 to 5 months away.
And what
on
triggers
completing.
the pumps to be put on?
There's a level control system in the influent canal to the pump station. Again, it's radio controlled, but they're also watching the weather at Jefferson Parish Drainage Department and will man it when it becomes necessary. It is not a manned station, and it is a secondary station, for lack of a better word, when the canal system at Soniat becomes full enough to overflow a control weir near the playground that then puts water into the suction basin at the pump station.
It seems as though it's the water level doesn't rise fast enough
And it has
because of a problem with the drainage, correct?
potentially crossing Jefferson Highway, yes. You know, now this project we're talking about is part of the master plan that would help get some of the water off of the River Road area up into some of the current crossings in that area. I think it's the Larcella Canal is what it eventually ties into. And just the last bit of comment, when we met with some council members last week and worked on the sewer rate adjustments, it did involve eliminating and reducing sewer improvements and maintenance. that I think brings us into a less traditional preventative maintenance program and into a critical, risky or critical management of failures of both pipe and equipment that are going to occur over the next years. Again, I explained to you a Pump Station 8 issue that we need to address very soon, and that these reductions in sewer maintenance and improvements are certainly not part of my professional recommendation to proceed with. So just want to leave you with that. I'm open to any questions. Be happy to comment further if necessary.
Calvin, Thursday, do you know what time from and to?
Currently, it's scheduled for 9 o'clock on St. Cyr, and I think 11 o'clock on Chris Lair until 5 a.m.
It's gonna be
Friday
one at a
morning.
time?
They may do both at the same time. I don't have that detail yet. Yes. I'm looking to get more information to confirm that they are still on schedule, because they did not work today because of,
Is that gonna be weather permitting, or?
it is potentially weather permitting. Right now, we're flowing so much water in the pipes in the sewer system, the manholes are flooded, so they can't work on the pipes. Not the rain outside, it's the water inside.
Right.
So,
If they don't do it Thursday night, do they do it Friday night?
I suspect not. I suspect they would keep it within the Monday night to Thursday night time frame. Again, I will confirm that. The last time this contractor did not work Monday and Tuesday, I went out to the job site looking for where they were supposed to be on Monday and Tuesday, and they went right to the Wednesday schedule. So I didn't find them on that particular day because they stayed with the schedule as they wrote it. So I will get more information on that, Chief.
We'll put something on our Facebook page. Mayor, would you put something on our website? I'll send it to you, we'll put something up.
Be happy to.
And again, I will confirm that with the contractor tomorrow based on his current plans as associated with the weather.
Tim, can you have your dispatchers call us and let us know when they shut that street down? I mean, you're gonna have
I'm gonna send
an
something
officer.
out. I'll send an email like I do to all the area agencies.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Darlene Schwartz, our community liaison.
Something like that. Good evening, everybody, and hope everybody dried off from the rain. A couple quick things. First off, I beat the drum several times up here about the drug prescription take-back day we had a few weeks ago. And I'm so happy and so excited. We collected 708 pounds of stuff. And Officer Moody, sitting in the back, helped. Harahan City Hall people helped with the boxes and the labeling and everything. And it was just, wow, just a huge effort. Thank everybody that came and turned their stuff in. And next time, we're going to aim high and put it into the 4-digit area. It's come around October, so save your stuff. But seriously, thank everybody that participated, and just phenomenal turnout. So thanks to everybody. Soul Bowl is coming up for the Special Olympics on June the 11th at the bowling alley. And I'm always maybe a little bit disappointed at our local turnout at this event. You know, we stick together in Harahan here. We complain about things, but when push comes to shove, we usually pull together and get the job done. This is a great event. It's $30 at the door to get in, and we usually have a lot of Saints football players, retired and active, and sometimes some of the LSU guys show up. It just depends what schedules are. And it's a fun event. They got a bunch of silent auction items and raffles, and we got music and all kinds of stuff. And if somebody wants to bowl, give me a shout, and we'll see about getting you on a team to bowl. I don't bowl. I can't bowl. But certainly come out and have some fun. So, again, that's on Sunday, June the 11th. Starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. So give it some consideration and show up and come have a good time. Summer vacation has started, And I mentioned this one time before about the little chillins running the streets, and it still bothers me. I see kids kind of by themselves, and again, it makes me a nervous wreck, but now we got school out. So please keep an eye on your kids, and if they get bored and they're old enough to enjoy a tour of either the police department or City Hall, give me a shout, and we'll be happy to get them and a group of their friends together and kind of show them how things work. The mayor offered they could even get to sit in the mayor's seat, and that's without campaigning or anything, so imagine that. We could probably even get the council to agree to let them come into council chambers and have a piece of this action too. So anyhow, seriously, tours over at the PD or City Hall and whatever, give me a shout. We'll get that set up and entertain them for a little bit. And that's it from me. Any complaints, anything as far as the city goes? If you don't know, we don't know if you don't tell us. So pick up the phone, call us, let us know, and we'll do our best to help you out. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Chief Walker?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Council, viewing public. Start off with, all my comments tonight will be for the record. Okay? I also want to talk about school is out for the summer, our kids are out. Please pay attention to your kids, where they're at. And unfortunately, we've already had a few bicycles stolen in the city and recovered. Some comments were made by the public last meeting about me. Yes, I've been up here probably the last 7, 8 months for the same thing, and I'm going to be up here again tonight until I get the information. It's primarily financial information to run the department. Also, a comment was made about I returned a proclamation that the mayor had given us a couple of months ago. Yes, I did return it. The accusation was I threw it to the mayor. I couldn't throw it to the mayor from here if I wanted. I placed it up on the dais in front of me. I did not throw it at the mayor. But the proclamation was about the city being honored as a first safest city in the state of Louisiana for 2016. We also had the honor of being the second safest city in 2015. It didn't happen, I don't think, by coincidence. I've been here 3 years this month. We'll put in a lot of policies, procedures, and improvements to the department to keep you, your families, your children, your business places safe. But my problem is I can't get my finances straight with the administration. Being a safer city is not a contest that we entered. Each month, law enforcement agencies around the country report to the FBI what they call the UCR, Uniform Crime Reporting, the statistics. Same person in my department's been doing it for about 30 years. If you go back to when I came in office in May of 14, I've encouraged you, the public, if you have a bicycle or whatever stolen at your house, to report it. I don't mind the stats going up. At least it gives us an idea where we have a problem, where we need to put our resources to address it. I guess going back to the budget. The council sets the budget for the police department in 2016. It was a little over $2 million. In simplistic terms, the mayor took that $2 million and put it in a safe, and her and Ms. Lulu, our city finance director, has total control of it, is how the balance is. I approve all payroll for the department. I approve all purchase orders. Some expenditures are reoccurring, such as electricity and other utilities for the department, and they automatically go through. So in order to run a department, I need to get an idea where I'm at financially. Well, October last year was the first time I got to look in that box and see what my balance was. It only went through July. That doesn't give me an idea where I'm at financially. The mayor believes whatever's in that safe that she has for the police department with our money, that at the end of December 31st, 2016, she gets to keep. I disagree with that. The next time we got a financial report was March of 2017. So we passed it December 31st. Mayor thinks what's left over, she's keeping. So we got a financial report in March of this year that went through the end of November of 2016, and it says, police department, you have $505,000 still sitting in that box. I find it hard to believe. $2 million budget, our payroll runs close to $90,000 a month. How do we have a $500,000, 1/4 of our 2016 budget, sitting there? So I had to do a public records request, and they were kind enough to send me the expenditures for December. They said we have a $79,000 balance. What they failed to give us was the revenue side. Another $82,000 of it was grant money. It was money that we spent during the year either buying materials or supplies that was authorized through a grant or a grant overtime. We were reimbursed. So you take the $82,000 and the $79,000 that our city finance director said we had, that's $160,000 that we didn't spend last year because we didn't know about it. And the mayor thinks that she's gonna keep it. I'm asking this council, I've asked before about whatever I had left over in 2016, take it out to the operating budget and dedicate it to the police department in a 2017 capital account. If I'd have known about it, I could have spent it. Our guys and gals are out there making less than $16 an hour. Maybe I can't give them a pay raise at this time, but at least if I said they're not well paid, they can be well equipped. Yeah, to me, it's almost a theft. It's a misappropriation of money. I mean, the money was given to us by ordinance, by law, by ordinance to the police department, and it's hidden from us. Another thing I brought up at the last meeting, we're going over some charges to the police department. Month before last, there was a charge for $94.75. It was a check issued and charged to the police department. And the mayor and Ms. Lulu, they have no idea what it's about. So I had to do a public records request. It was a check made out to the State Highway Safety Commission for $94.75. I've asked repeatedly what account was it drawn on, and all they will tell us is general ledger account 4112-40400. Ms. Lulu, who's that account belong to? Police Department. Who authorized, was it a purchase order or a check request to take that $94.75 from the police department?
We are gonna address,
No. Address
Chief?
when? I've sent you 8.
Chief,
No.
we're gonna stick to the city business
This
tonight.
is city
We
business.
have a
I
lot
can't get
to
it done.
do.
I sent you 8 public
We are
records
not-
requests a week and a half ago, and I haven't got one reply
Chief,
yet.
We cannot keep having the same issues.
If I can't get
you
the
want-
answer, yes, we will.
If you want to come and meet with me, I've
Why? So
offered
you can tell
this.
me more stories?
I have offered to meet with you. We need to do city business.
I've tried, and all I get is, I don't get the answers. Who authorized
Chief,
the check for
Chief,
$94.75?
Chief, I'm sorry, I'm only one council member, but I
Pardon?
don't know if the rest agree.
Pardon?
This is city business to me.
This is city
And if you
business.
want to continue to discuss, we can be here all night long.
So I'm asking one more time. Who authorized that check to be cut or drawn from the police department account to pay the state for public records request? Ms. Lulu, can you answer that?
I answered that in the email with your public information request.
No, you didn't say who authorized. Well, tell us, answer it, say it again, I don't remember.
The mayor authorized.
The same mayor who authorizes payroll checks, the same mayor who authorizes a lot of other things. The police department is not a separate entity. It is a part of the city. It doesn't have a totally separate budget.
Oh, yes, we do. We do by ordinance, by the council.
City Attorney Burris, I'm just trying to make the point that you clarified with me. It was a Latin term that you used, unlike the sheriff's department, who has its own for the Jefferson Parish. That's all.
The HPD is not a separate entity.
I'm sorry.
The HPD isn't what the law calls sui juris. It's not its own independent entity. It's part of city government. So, you know, the HPD, unlike the sheriff's department, that's a separate state legal entity. That's its own legal entity. The HPD is not a separate entity. It's budgeted under the auspices of the city. All of its employees are employees of the city. Its obligations are obligations of the city. So I think that's, I guess, where you're
That's
going, Mayor.
what I was asking.
Now, certainly there are provisions of the budget ordinance that say this money is allocated to this plot, this money is allocated to that spot, but the HPD isn't like a standalone entity for legal purposes.
That's all I wanted to say.
You have an elected police chief in Harahan who is responsible for his budget. We talked about that case several months ago, Doyle versus actually the city of Harahan. I am responsible for the budget. The council gave me $2 million and some dollars in 2016 to operate the department. It's not up to the mayor to hide my money from me. And she's putting you, the public, at risk.
Chief, I'm going to state quite firmly, please, if you have questions, put them before the auditor and tell them to
We have,
investigate.
and we haven't got answers to that either.
Because the continued accusations are not helpful. The continued arguing the same things over and over aren't helpful. So we
But-
have a city auditor, and I would tell you, you have gone to the legislative auditor, you can go to the city auditor and let them answer your questions as to what budgetary processes are proper and not.
When I go to the city CPA, I get charged $105 an hour. How much does the city auditor charge me per hour? You don't know what this contract is with what we pay the city auditor?
Tim, we need to move on to city business.
It says city business. Let me show you. This is what the mayor paid $94 out of the police department budget. This is highway safety grants that go back to 2012. My question, has anybody actually looked at all this material?
This isn't a deposition, Chief. If you would like to talk about this, and we can go through a $94 request.
Welcome to my world.
we'll
The same
go through
information
it.
was given to our city finance director back in what, May of, March?
No, I'm sorry,
May
May 31st.
31st, where they already had most of this information. And if you think they looked at all these grants that were reimbursed, what happens is we get grant money for overtime, whether it's for DWI or seatbelt. We work the grant. They get paid out of the city police department budget for overtime. At the end of the grant time, or the end of the year, we submit the documentation to the agency that issued the grant. Then we reimbursed. That money should go back into that operating account for overtime to the police department, the reimbursement. That's part of the $82,000 that we got beat out of last year. But we can't discuss it in public.
All I'm suggesting is that, Chief, you continually lay serious allegations.
I can document them.
And you have an ongoing audit.
This
And
has
year
nothing-
after year, we can address this, and it can be discussed up, open for the public to see. But
I'm doing it right now.
you have to take it to the auditor. Your questions
Why
are
take it to the auditor?
auditor.
You have the answers. Ms. Lulu, how much did you make last year? How much did you bill the city of Harahan last year?
I cannot tell you how much I
You
billed
can't,
or
you.
how many
wait,
numbers are.
You got, what we were able to ascertain, you billed over $130,000 to the city last year. You were budgeted $50,000. Is that correct or incorrect? And if you can sit there and tell me, as a certified public accountant, you don't know what you billed the city, we're really in bad shape.
Chief, I'm going to
can
ask
say
you
what
to
I-
refrain from your tone and your accusation.
Well, I can't get
Asking
answers. I've sent you
questions.
emails, I've sent public records requests, and you can ask Mr. Burris, you have 3 days to legally answer them. It's been over a week and a half, I've got no answer. And one of them was simple enough, just tell me whose account did that belong to? Was that
Chief, it
simple?
had your account on it. Your
I
answer
asked you-
was
no, I
before
asked
you.
Who was the account assigned to, and I could never get an answer.
It had
They
your
don't want to
wa-
admit that they
it
took
had your
$94
account.
out of my account without permission.
Chief, it
basically.
had your account on it, the email that was sent to you.
Who gives
If
you the right to
didn't
take
recognize
$94 out of
that
my
app
department?
To do that.
To get 379 pages, which you'll never look at. That's $94 of the city's tax dollars. So like I said, is anybody gonna review these 379 pages? I guess not, huh? Going back to last month, well, a couple of months ago, we figured at the end of the year, we would have $105,000 left. And we'd asked the city auditor, Ms. Whittle and myself met with the city auditor, and also did Councilman Wheeler and Johnston at a separate date, if we could take that money that was left over, which we thought it would be $105,000, take it from operating of 2016 and put it in 2017 capital. And they said yes. So an ordinance 1824 was written and passed. And then was it March 25th, I get a phone call in the afternoon at the last minute from there, like 4 in the afternoon, that she spoke to the city auditor, and there was some problems the way the ordinance was written. But that would still get the money, and they'd redo the ordinance. Ms. Hammond, the CPA with the auditor, called me and confirmed the same thing. I said, okay, can you put it in writing? I put it in writing. My email said, and it could have been clear, a 2-year-old could have understood. Today, March 24th, 2017, I spoke to both Ms. Becky Hammond, City of Harahan Auditor, with CRI, Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, Mayor Maselli, regarding the transfer of $105,000 from the Harahan Police Department's 2016 operating budget to the Harahan Police Department's 2017 capital budget. They, both Ms. Hammond and Mayor Maselli, informed me that there was a problem in the way the ordinance was structured, and that Ordinance 1824 would be vetoed, and that 2 new ordinances would be created to transfer the unused funds, which we, Harahan Police Department, believe, from my information, had at hand, because we never received end of the year balance, to be $105,000. If the City of Harahan Finance Director's final end of the year balance for the year 2016 for the Harahan Police Department is more than $105,000, we, the Harahan Police Department, would request that this figure be used. If the final end of the year 2016 is less than 105, we, Harahan Police Department, would like to be notified the balance before the new ordinances are submitted. Again, we had not received any end of the year reports at that time. And again, I've been informed that whatever the number is used, fund balance for 2016 for the Harahan Police Department, that amount will be offered in new ordinances to be transferred to 2017 Harahan Police Department capital's budget, and this funding will not be taken or removed from the Harahan Police Department's operating budget. If this is correct, I have no issue with the veto. Then at the last meeting, the mayor came back and said, oh, that's not what we said. And now you wonder why I don't believe what the mayor says? It was in writing. A 2-year-old could have read it and understood it. And it goes on.
Chief?
This past week, no, Chief, nothing. This past week, we're notified 7 of our police officers have not been entered into the police retirement system.
That's not
Because
correct.
that's not correct?
That's not correct.
Okay. So the state retirement system is incorrect when they tell us this. One police officer goes back to December 2015. If, God forbid, if one of these officers were hurt on a job, he or she would not receive a disability pension, and this city would be liable. The second thing is that one officer is going on 1.5 years. When we make this up, he has to make it up at one time, and we, the police department, have to make it up one time with probably interest. I don't think the officer can do it. If these officers have nothing else when they come to work here, they got a pension system. We don't pay them much, so they look forward to the pension 30 years later that they can retire and get a decent pension system. But when they're not entered, they're take a step further. Go back to allocated overhead cost. We're being charged by the mayor 50% of the HR director's salary. So you're telling me he works a 40-hour week, that he spends 20 hours each week or 80 hours a month working on police department stuff? I don't think so. Our portion of the police pension system, meaning the police department of the city, is a little over 31%, and the police officer pays 7%. So I don't know how we can make this up and pay it back. As I said before, I did 8 public records requests last month, and I've got no response. Then I get informed this week, it's been a busy week, folks, that there was a problem in the court, that 200, almost 300 attachments were issued, and some of them weren't properly vetted. So that means a few people have attachments issued that really shouldn't have been issued. And I haven't heard any more about that. Just said y'all were going to look into it. Can you give us an update on that?
we will later when we come to that part of
Yeah,
the meeting.
Tonight?
Chief, when we get into new business, we will. We have much on the agenda.
Yeah.
And you continually take parts of conversations,
Oh,
pieces and parts, and think you're telling the entire story.
Well, it's funny, I went over to the court and we verified 2 of them that entered into attachments, and they were not properly vetted, where we couldn't technically issue attachments for them. So I don't know where I'm missing part of the story on that one. And I understand as many as 6 or 7, maybe more.
Can we move on to address the council?
When I finish.
Chief, can I just ask you real quick, you said 7 officers that
7.
the city has failed to
Correct.
do their match?
Let me go
And-
back a step further. I hate to interrupt you. We have been asking to have access to read-only. Encode is the software package that the city of Harahan has for our finances. We have repeatedly asked to give us access, read-only. Don't want to go in and change any numbers. Ms. Lulu does that. She puts the numbers in there, that's fine. If we would have had access to this information, we would have caught this error last year.
Well, Chief, at the last council meeting, Ms. Lulu said you have access.
That's incorrect. We asked for access for all of it. And one of the things that we don't have access to is payroll. If we would have had access to payroll, Ms. Whittle would have caught this a long time ago. I'm asking, is there any reason why we can't have read-only access to all the financials for the city? Is there any reason why we can't?
There's going to be difficulties with that. That's something we'd have to talk and to explore.
Talk to who about?
You and I should talk about that, Chief.
It's public record. Anybody from the public can walk in and ask for that same thing. Why can't we have?
We should discuss it.
I am discussing it right now.
She has no intention of asking
I
any
know, and
questions.
it won't happen if we meet. So,
Yeah, I thought we said at the last council meeting you have access, and you actually
What?
have administrative access, but you just don't know how to use it. And Ms. Lulu was going to come teach you how to use it. That
Never
was at the
happened.
last council meeting.
and we don't have it. We have some limited access. We don't have total access.
Right,
For
that's
read
how it
only. We
goes.
don't want to change any numbers. We don't want to enter anything. We don't take anything out. If we could just read it, we can get an idea where we at budget-wise. It's all done by design. They hide stuff. They hide the numbers from all the departments, so you don't know where you're at. Because again, the mayor's got this little box with all the city money in it. If it's left over December 31st end of the year, she's looking to keep it. Not going to happen.
Can you explain the process of these officers that are not in this pension program? Who is responsible for enrolling them or setting it up where it comes out of their payroll?
We take the basic paperwork and bring it over to City Hall, and Human Relations is supposed to follow up with the
Okay.
pension system, and it hasn't happened. We've had some discussions with the pension system, and it's not in there. We've been trying to correct it, but again, that money has to be made up for all 7 of the officers, both our portion and the officers' portion.
So these officers that barely make any money now are going to be expected to catch up
Correct.
of all the time that it wasn't put in?
That is correct.
And that should be, well, that shouldn't be their responsibility. I think that's the person who didn't do their job correctly.
I don't know. Are we going to talk
So
about hospitalization? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I feel bad for these police officers. God forbid, like you said, something happens to them.
Are we going to discuss hospitalization insurance tonight?
It's going to be,
You're not looking at me.
Well, basically, the base pay for most of our police officers, and it's not much more than that if they have any kind of experience, is $34,616. After they attend and complete post-certified training in 1 year on the job, they get $500 a month or $6,000 a year from the state. So the basic pay for that officer is $40,616, give or take. The overtime is somewhat limited. Our portion, the city's portion, by the time all the deducts, Social Security, hospitalization, Medicare, workman's comp, that officer cost us, the city of Harahan, just shy of $61,000. He or she doesn't make that kind of money. Again, their gross pay is $34,600. I'm not blaming the mayor for this, but we had some figures given to us this week about the increase in hospitalization. Any of our officers take full coverage. Their take-home pay, not counting the state pay, but their take-home pay, because we went through some of their payroll checks in the last couple of days, just shy of $14,000 a year, plus $6,000 from the state. So how do you live on $20,000 a year take-home? I don't know how they do it. I'll call them magicians. We have to do something, folks. And this has been a continuous problem with this department over the years. We train them, they stay here for a year or two, and they go on, I don't blame them, they go on to other departments where they get more pay or they have the opportunity to make overtime or work details. But how do you live on $20,000 a year and you have a wife and family? I don't know how they do it. Something has to be done to address it. I'm not blaming you, Mayor. I understand there's going to be an increase in hospitalization. It's nobody's fault. It's just the facts of life. But something has to be done to increase their pay, or we're not going to keep police officers. One last question. The city building next door on the front, I understand the tenant moved out?
Yes, we'd like to advertise it.
You going to rent it out again?
I'd like to advertise it.
Okay, if not, we'd like to use it if we could, but if you're going to rent it out, that's fine. Okay. I'll meet with you, man. I'll bring somebody with me, but you don't like anybody on my staff.
I never said that, Chief.
Oh, you haven't? That's why I don't want to meet with you. Thank you.
Well, thanks for agreeing to meet, because I think that's a good place to start. Address the council. Anybody who would like to come up and address the council, please note that we'd like you to state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, John Ream, 3 Ren Pass. Jay Vicknair from Senator John Kennedy's office called us today regarding wood materials core permit application for the new haul road that they're supposed to build behind the levee, along the river, behind their sand pits. He stated that on April 19th, 2017, the Corps sent a letter to Wood Materials requesting a meeting for more information concerning their permit application for the new haul road. Wood has not replied, and that was 6 weeks ago. And as you remember, on the Harahan City Council meeting, June the 19th, 2016, almost a year ago, Wood Materials attorney stated that they applied for the permit that same day. I don't think it takes a year for somebody to get a permit to run a road. Why is it taking Wood so long? Is he delaying on purpose? In March 2016, the mayor was given 300 signed petitions from the residents requesting construction of Hall Road on the Mississippi River side of the sand pits, and a road that runs straight from the ramp, the Hickory ramp, straight back to the back of the sand pits and run along the sand pits and access all of the sand pits from the river side. Put berms across the openings behind the levee from Hickory to Bailey, and trees planted on them, grass planted on the current Hall Road running directly behind that levee and parallel to the levee, and close that down, and move the illegal compost and mulch facility out of Harahan. Wood Materials has 3 other sand pits located in industrial areas. The city government of Harahan needs to spearhead the residents' request to Wood Materials and to any other agency that has anything to do with it. The residents need you as the government to stand strong and protect them. In January 29th, a letter to the mayor from on 2016, January 29th, 2016, Wood Materials states that they wanted to meet with the Corps of Engineers to discuss possibility of a new haul route. The meeting was scheduled for Wednesday, February the 6th. We will share the information that we received from the meeting with you and the community immediately thereafter. Wood Materials did not share the information from the meeting with the city or the community or have any community meeting, which they said they were going to have at that time. On August 11, 2016, New Orleans City Business article, the reporter interviewed Sarah Louise Woodham, and Sarah stated, construction has begun on a new haul road for Wood Materials customers to haul sand and debris further away from the neighbors across the street. Could I go just a little bit longer?
Yeah, motion for
just a little bit.
3 more minutes.
Yeah.
I have a
Okay.
motion for 3 more minutes by Councilman Hewitt, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Any
Shouldn't take that
opposed?
long.
We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes.
Thank you. And in the same article, dump trucks that haul sand and debris have been rerouted further down the river, which is the Jefferson Parish ramp on the Wood Materials property. She said it should take about 6 weeks to complete the new haul road, which began construction in July. The construction did not start in July 2016, and trucks now are not using the Jefferson Parish ramp, they're using the Hickory Street ramp again, and that allows more sand to blow into Harahan. On August 24th, 2016, Wood Materials letter to customers states, we have had to water extensively to reflect our diligence to a recent LDEQ concern. Soon, our Harahan facility will undergo a huge makeover that will benefit all. We hope to start this massive project in a few months. This massive project did not start until around March 2017. It just started. And the construction along the river continues to be delayed by the Corps, well, they say by the Corps of Engineers, but the Corps is not getting the information from them, so Wood Materials is holding up the project. All of you should ask Wood Materials attorney, Remy Donnelly, and I see he's not here, but somebody's probably here to represent Wood Materials, you should ask them, why isn't Wood Materials filling out the permit application for the new haul road along the river correctly? And it seems to me that any engineering company could do that, given a year to do it. And when will Wood Materials close the old haul road that runs along the levee, directly behind it, parallel to the levee? Why is Wood still operating the illegal compost and mulching facility on the Harahan Batcher? Make Wood Materials accountable for what they have already started to do, and Wood Materials should want to be a good neighbor to the city and the residents of Harahan. So thank you all very much.
Before I start, I'd like to apologize that we've been up here
Say
almost.
your name again?
I'd just like to apologize that we've been up here almost 2 years, every single meeting. And y'all are probably getting well tired of us. But we hoping that something will get done because we're ready to retire. Thank y'all for talking. Let me talk. Evan Lorene, 3 Rand Pass. LDAF issues Wood Materials a BMP permit to operate compost and mulch facility on the Batcher in Harahan, and the BMP requirement states your facility must comply with all other applicable federal, state, and local regulations and ordinances. Compost, mulching, tree dumping, and manufacturing are not permitted uses on the Harahan Batcher Ordinance 1333. Wood Materials knowingly and intentionally daily breaks LDAF requirement and breaks the Harahan Batcher law. Pierce Wood fully knew the Harahan Batcher law from 2010 Mayor Paul Johnston. Jefferson Parish Public Records email on January 22nd, 2016, day after we addressed the Harahan City Council on the agenda, Wood Materials Jonathan Strad admitted to a Jefferson Parish worker knowledge of the city attempting to enforce Municipal Code 1333 and stating it could shut down compost activity and require secession of the Jefferson Parish Cooperative Endeavor Agreement. This email proves that Jonathan Strad knew he was operating against the Harahan Batcher Ordinance, and he knew that compost and mulch could be shut down. Jefferson Parish did not renew Wood Materials Cooperative Endeavor Agreement on November 16, 2016, in respect to the Harahan NU Batcher Ordinance. Wood Materials does not respect and obey the city Batcher Ordinance and sued the city for issuing them a citation for illegal compost and mulching against Harahan Batcher Ordinance. How many companies working in the city sued their city for not allowing them to break the law? Probably none. But Wood Materials is being a bad example to other companies, and Harahan should not allow this to happen. Wood Materials can move their illegal mulch and compost to one of their other 3 sand yards located in mostly industrial areas. LDQ issued Wood Materials an order on November 28, 2012, after Hurricane Isaac, to return land to original state. But Wood Materials ignored the LDQ order, making Harahan Batcher a tree dump and continuing to accept and mulch trees, showing disrespect to a state authority. All companies or individuals dumping tree debris or buying compost from Wood Materials is breaking the Harahan Bachelor law and should be cited by the City of Harahan. LDAF Commissioner Mike Strain is incorrect, suggesting that because there is litigation ongoing, that he may not revoke Wood Materials' offending BMP permit.
Motion to extend 3 minutes.
I have a motion by Councilman Hewitt, seconded by Councilman Bodier to extend for an additional 3 minutes. All those in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
LDAF is not a party to the litigation, and therefore the LDF may not do away with their own requirement. It's LDAF's responsibility to revoke Wood Materials BMP permit. It is the Commissioner's duty to revoke Wood Materials BMP when they are confronted with the Harahan Bachelor law and stark evidence of Wood Materials violations. Commissioners should take the appropriate actions under the terms of the MOU agreement by LDAF and immediately revoke Wood Materials BMP issued on July 18, 2016. LDAF Commissioner Mike Strain and Joey Bro received letters and emails from Mayor and Council after the December 7, 2016 temporary injunction. Council members also sent emails requesting disappointment that the Commissioner did not yet revoke Wood Materials BMP permit. Commissioner Strain was shown at our meeting with him on March 1st over 300 residents' requests to the city to remove illegal compost and mulch off the Bachelor. We also brought the residents written complaints. Commissioner Strain must abide by the will of the constituents. LDF Joey Bro should have revoked Wood Materials BMP on January 29, 2016, when he received an email from City Clerk Judy Johnson stating compost is not a permitted use on the Bachelor, and she included a copy of the Harahan Bachelor ordinance. Joey replied, BMP plans must indeed conform to the zoning and land use regulations, but he did not revoke Wood Materials BMP. And this was before City cited Wood and Wood sued the city. The mayor and the council together should request a meeting with Commissioner Mike Strain at Harahan City Hall. The city of Harahan needs to make Commissioner Mike Strain accountable to the state of Louisiana and the city of Harahan by urging him to enforce LDAF-owned BMP requirement and uphold Harahan NU Bachelor ordinance. We will continue to support and represent the residents of Harahan against Wood Materials' illegal compost, mulch, tree dumping, and manufacturing bags of illegal compost until it is removed off the Harahan Bachelor. The City of Harahan officials work for the residents and need to continue to protect the residents' health and homes by addressing Commissioner Mike Strain to revoke BMP. The December 17, 2016 temporary injunction does not stop Commissioner from revoking BMP. Pressure needs to continue to be on Commissioner Mike Strain. Since LDAF is free to uphold BMP requirement and Harahan Bachelor ordinance, we are requesting the mayor and council to continue to put pressure on Commissioner Mike Strain to revoke the BMP. Do you have any comments? Do you have any questions? And is there anything you can do?
So, Mayor, if one of the council members sets up a meeting with Mike Strain here at City Hall, will you attend?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you so much. We just come and we talk and we like, this takes so long to get these things ready and so much research. We do so much research. And we can prove over and over that this company did so much to get this illegal permit. And please help the
I am
residents and
trying
get
to
it out.
cancel it
I'm
here,
finished.
sorry.
I had enough time. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Y'all have been very
Who does
kind.
this?
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Hello, my name's William Morgan. I live at 25 Elodie Street
Hi, Mr.
in Harahan. I've been here for almost 25 years. Levees were reinforced and everything worked out fine. All of a sudden, about a year ago, noticed the grass getting high. When I say high, I'm talking waist high. Called my Jefferson Parish Councilman, Mr. Johnson. He took care of it, cleaned it up, got it done. Everything was fine. Lately, I go back out there, and it's only in a section from a little past Chrislaw all the way to Hickory. There is absolutely no reason why the levee board cutters cannot go 1,000 more feet. From what I understand, they've got a contractor to come out there and cut 1,000 feet. That is beyond me. Why spend that extra money when the mowers are already there? They come out, the most they do is come out and they'll trim. And then, and you look at it, you say, okay, you're thinking it's gonna get cut. Month goes by, 2 months, go out there right now. Walk down Elodie Street, walk on the levee. I couldn't even bring my grandson on the levee. I absolutely refuse to walk 3 blocks this way to go on the levee that I should be able to walk right off my street onto the levee. It's almost 2 feet high. There's no reason for this. I mean, this goes on. Now, as I said, Mr. Johnson for the Jefferson Parish Council, he looked into it. Everything was fine. I don't know who else to go to. I will go to the Jefferson Parish Council meeting and address it there also. But this is Harahan. That's why I'm addressing you all. If you want your levies to look like that and represent Harahan, fine. I can sell my house and move out. It's no big thing. But for them to start cutting in a certain area, and I'll take it a step further, and I hate to do it this way. It almost stops where rental property in Harahan starts. When I mean rental property, I mean multiple rental property, 3 and 4 things. They're only gonna cut to a certain area. That's not right. It just doesn't look good. I also have to kill snakes in the backyard. Had one on my front porch. Now we're fighting, we're starting to have rats. I don't want rats. You can't let your kids out in your backyard to play because of varmints running around. I think you all should look into this. I know, Madam Mayor, you said you would, and you probably.
I have already
That's
contacted
okay.
formally.
And you can give them my phone number. I'll walk them up on the levee. I'll let them bring their grandchildren, see if they want to walk through that hayfield we got up there. And if you're gonna contract somebody with another tractor, you've got to be kidding me.
Thank you.
When they're already there. There's no reason for this. Please look into it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention again, and it has been brought to the levy district's attention.
Tommy Buddy, 7208 Stoneleigh Drive. I've got 4 questions and a comment on the first question. The new car wash facility on Jefferson, 2nd, and Hickory is, at least the footprint's completed. And I noticed 2 things that were kind of odd, and one of them I think represents a safety issue. There's a wooden fence that abuts the sidewalk on Hickory. I don't know if that's in compliance with zoning. I would think you cannot build a fence out to a street under our zoning, and I'd like somebody to comment on that. The other thing, what looks like the vacuuming equipment on 2nd Street is on the property line also, and there's a piece of vacuuming equipment, one of their bays, right up near Hickory. When you're on 2nd Street trying to turn onto Hickory, heading eastbound, that vacuum equipment blocks your sight line. So it's a safety issue. My gut is that may not be in compliance with zoning. I'd like to know the answer to that. And if it's not in compliance with zoning, I'd like to have them at least move that piece of vacuuming equipment which is blocking the sight line when you're trying to turn on Hickory from 2nd Street. The other thing is a point of clarification. When Calvin was addressing us, I may have misunderstood, but I thought he said the videoing of the sewage lines was begun. And I was of the understanding that that had been completed.
years, yeah.
So if you could clarify.
The contractor does a pre and post video of the line to show his improvement to the line. He does his repairs.
So it's the contractor and not the
Right, we did videotape to discover the repair.
Mr. Hotmeyer, if you, I
No.
prefer not to get into a back and forth.
Well,
because
that's
that would
clear.
be-
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to make everything the
No,
same
that's
for
fine.
everybody.
I
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
that. It helped clarify perfectly. I see that the Corps of Engineers contractors have repaired and replaced the horseshoe facility at Harahan Playground. And kind of based upon what we went through as a city and with the Harahan Athletic Association. I'm wondering who gets to use that facility? Is it open to the public? If it's not open to the public, is there a use agreement by a third party, and what consideration are they paying, and how is that consideration agreed to? So if tonight, Mayor, if you could give some general comments.
Motion to extend 3 minutes?
Second.
I have a motion to extend 3 minutes by Councilman Hewitt, seconded by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor? Yay. Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. This will only take 30 seconds. The next one's a question regarding the garbage contract. I saw on Facebook some comments that the Romelli contract is no longer on the Harahan website. I looked on the Harahan website, list of contracts, and I don't see it. So I'm really curious why it's not, and if there's a reason, what that reason is. So, Mayor, if you could address that tonight, I'd appreciate it. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason Brusick, 7204 Stoneleigh. Want to go ahead and set up your timer?
Thank you, I did. I'm
Quite all right.
multitasking here.
I'll give you a second. Go ahead.
Oh, you're done? Go.
All right, okay. My questions are going to focus on what Tim Walker brought up a little bit ago, because I want to know as well, why is it every single month he comes here, he has to ask for the exact same information? That baffles me. He should have gotten his financials a long time ago. He should be getting updates every single month. I get them at work, and I cannot imagine somebody running a department where he's not getting financial documentation. It just doesn't click for me. So I want to know why. Why is he not getting it? If it's a question of Miss Lulu's competence to do it, we need to know that. And we as the taxpayers, we're paying that salary. We need to know if she's just incapable of doing it. So if she is, we need a response from you, Mayor, as to why he's not getting monthly updates for his budget. Also, if he was allotted $500,000 as of November of 2016, there was still 500 grand in that lockbox he was talking about. I'm pretty sure that's his money to have spent as he chose. How come he didn't know about it until November, at best? Again, that baffles me. You can't run a department, much less a business or anything else, without regular, consistent, accurate financial information. It must be accurate. And if our accountant is incompetent to do that, we need to know that.
I'm going to ask you to refrain from using those kind of words. I think that is inflammatory. I think that impugns someone's reputation, and I think it's uncalled for, quite frankly.
Okay. If she's not capable of providing that information consistently, we, the taxpayers, need to know that, because we're paying $130,000 a year. That's a lot of money, guys. I mean, really, that's a lot of money. For an accountant, come on. It just doesn't make any sense. And why is he having to submit public records requests for stuff he should be getting anyway? If he submitted, what did he say, 7 or 8 just last week, or the week before last, that again boggles the mind that the chief of police needs to submit a public records request for something he should already have. Folks, this doesn't make sense. So I want to also know from you, Mayor, why is he being required to submit a public records request for financial information? If he's paying as much as he says, which is the allocated overhead for her salary. Can I have just a few more minutes?
Motion, extend 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Second. Wait, hold on. I have a motion to extend for 3 more minutes by Councilman Wheeler, seconded by Councilman Bodier. All in favor? Yay. Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes.
Thank you. If he's paying as much of her salary through that allocation as it sounds like, that could be a $50,000 hit to his budget, maybe $60,000. Then it seems to me she needs to be working for him for half the time. And yet clearly she's not. So I would like to know, why is he being required to do public records requests in the first place? And why isn't he getting the financial data on a regular monthly basis, which is accurate for his accounting purposes? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
So my question will be, Mayor, under new business, since we're not here at the point you want to answer those questions, under new business, will you then provide the answers?
I'll address it.
Thank you.
I answered it before. It's done by design. The mayor believes any money that's left over at the end of the year is her money to spend as she wishes. She's gone over budget in other departments, and because I have the largest chunk of money out the city budget, if I don't know what's left, she gets to recoup it. It's done on purpose.
Chief, I'll respectfully request
And everybody believes otherwise.
that you do not speak for me or my motives of what I've done.
Well, you won't
because
explain it.
They're not correct.
Well, you won't explain
They're
it.
not correct.
Well, explain
Address
it
the
then.
council.
Explain it.
Eric Chatelain, 700 Colonial Club Drive. My trash has been picked up perfect. Put 2 cans out. They picked up the Ramelli can, picked up the Ace Hardware can. People are still having trash issues. Feel sorry for you. Still waiting on a key for the playground. I believe the mayor said numerous times I could have a key, come to City Hall. No one's ever here to issue a key. No one here.
We told you that you can check it out at the playground when you need it for the weekend. Sign it out.
So we check out a key each time we need it.
Yes.
So we can rent a booth too at the playground, just like anybody else can walk in.
Wait, Mr. Chatelain, wasn't it discussed after y'all finalized the cooperative, the agreement and the insurance that y'all would have a key? And my understanding, it was said the very next morning you could come pick it up?
My understanding too.
I don't
but
recall there being a sign-out sheet for you to use it.
It's my understanding also.
That was before we signed the endeavor.
Um,
Check it out.
With the police issue,
Wait,
with his,
let's just continue this, please. So I've asked probably the last 4 council meetings that the president of the athletic association for our children, for our recreation department, that has months, has finally agreed upon and negotiated a cooperative endeavor agreement with the city to help our children, our recreation department, that you would address that and give him a key. All you have to do, Mr. Chatelain, is come to City Hall and pick up the key.
Tried
and
it
Mr.
numerous
Chatelain
times.
then says, I come all the time, Mayor, but no one here in administration will give me the key. I know that, Mr. Chatelain, you need to make an appointment with me. And if you'd let me know when you're coming, I will give you the key. I am talking about the mayor. But now you can't have the key. You never could have gotten the key. It doesn't matter who you see at City Hall because no one's ever giving you a key. You have to go to the playground and just check it out like anyone else would.
correct. This is the first time I heard it. So I'll quit wasting my time coming here to get a key.
I
No
believe it
problem,
was
Mayor.
emailed to you, but we can revisit
No
the email.
problem.
No, it wasn't.
That's another lie. So
That's not
the police chief,
what it is.
I believe you told me to come get a key numerous times,
it's
just
on-
like
it's
Ms.
on-
Hewitt
it's
just
on the
stated.
record. It's on
And
the
you
record.
stating right now today, you've never said that.
It's on the record.
Thank you.
I didn't say that.
So the police chief does not know his budget.
We're gonna get back to work.
He can't keep track of his money. But he's short on equipment, bulletproof vests, numerous things that he would like to upgrade to benefit his officers. So the parish funds money to the police department to help them out. Private individuals fund money to help out. And we got a war chest over here. It's unbelievable.
We will now address the council. Approval of the minutes.
Reading of the corrected minutes of the council meeting on February 16th.
Do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by
Second.
Councilman Hewitt. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? We have 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes.
And approval of the corrected minutes of the council meeting on February 16th.
Do I have a motion to approve?
What's been corrected? From February.
Well, if these are corrected, I already see some errors. One motion, she has that all council members said yay, but then she's got me and Councilman voted yay saying nay. And it's once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times on the corrections.
Are the corrections redlined or?
No, you kind of just have to read them and compare them to what was done last time. But there are 5 motions that she has, every single council member saying yay, but myself and Councilman Bodier saying nay, 5 times.
Okay,
Ms. Judy,
thank you.
would you like to, you know?
At this point, I'd rather just do without the minutes and just leave the video as the record, because it seems month after month we're having to do corrections, and the corrections are incorrect.
I would concur.
Mr. Burris, we have discussed briefly in the past about the minutes and using the video as the minutes. The only problem with that, not having written documentation, is very difficult when you want to refer to meetings.
The minutes must be advertised by law.
That's another thing.
Thank you, Nicole.
The Code of Ordinances says that the minutes are not, I think it uses these words, it's not to be considered a verbatim transcript of what transpired at the meeting. But if you want to make the videos the official record, I think you should do it by ordinance. You should amend the city code and then put in place a procedure whereby you somehow certify that the person who's doing the videography is actually, I won't say sworn to do it, but is at least under some obligation by the city to make sure that you're gonna.
Accuracy.
Well, yeah, something to document that this is the person who's authorized to take the video, and the video will be deposited in a certain place, and that will form a verbatim transcript. Now, the reason you take minutes, and this is a perfect example of it, because, you know, the vote wasn't recorded accurately. I mean, the reason that you've got the minutes and that your code of ordinances says it's not a verbatim transcript.
And I'm not saying that it has to be verbatim, but if it says 5 yeas
It's
and
got-
2 nays,
that's-
5 times,
That's the bare minimum of minutes, because when you look back at the legislative history of your ordinances, you want to make sure that this is an accurate reflection of the vote that was taken.
Yes.
And so that's, if you want to, you know, distill your minutes down to just, this was the ordinance, this was the vote taken, and then just have 2 pages of minutes, that's probably the way to go, and then do everything else through your videographer, you know, that's, we actually used, the videographic testimony through affidavit from Nicole in the Woods lawsuit, Wood Materials lawsuit. So it's accepted by the courts, but I'd like to, if you're gonna formalize it, that's the way I'd like to see the ordinance read. Tell me to go do an ordinance, I'll get you an ordinance that does exactly that. Yes? Marching orders?
Yes, sounds like.
yeah,
a
like I
great
said, it doesn't need to be verbatim, but,
Yeah. And-
so I will
and
not be
you-
approving
the-
these minutes, so
the-
we can,
The amendment will just say that, you know, the minutes that are presented to the council are the transcripts, is a recording of the matter being considered in the vote
or
thereof.
like if somebody wants to put it for the record too. But, I mean,
Yeah, well, these will definitely have to go back to get corrected again, as you stated. 5 yeas, 2 nays is.
I'll just
Can't be
decline my
done, right.
approval. We can move on.
All right, so they're gonna go
So,
back to be recorrected?
Motion, February meeting, minutes, go back for corrections.
I'm going to ask that if you notice any other error, please bring it to Ms. Judy's attention so that she can do it before the meeting.
Well, Mayor, if I'm not
To-
mistaken, we received these minutes on Friday afternoon. When we got a partial packet
I'm
of
at-
our agenda on Thursday with a meeting that's scheduled for today, we got a partial package with an email from Nicole saying, oh, by the way, here's your partial package, but I still need this, and this. So how are we supposed to conduct business? How are we supposed to have time to review when we get them 2 days before? And I think it was 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Why don't we
All
get our
I'm
agendas in a more
asking-
accurate time to give us the time to do our work?
Actually, I'm just asking that if you notice it, there's no reason for public shaming, that if you
Mayor, I don't
can.
think I public shamed anybody. You asked me to approve them, and I'm just pointing out an
May
error.
I finish the sentence? I was
You
mid-sentence.
can go right ahead, ma'am.
That if you notice it prior to the next meeting, please let us know, and it would be beneficial, and we can have that done for the council. We all want it to be accurate.
Well, I think that works
Thank
two
you.
ways, Mayor, because we ask information from you prior to, and we don't get it. But yet you preach to us about what we're in every department supposed to do prior to a meeting. We can move on.
It's not public shaming.
I
It's
didn't-
our job to approve minutes. We're not approving them.
We're not approving them, so.
I just
So,
think
move
there,
on.
if you notice an error, that if you said it before, it would be a nice thing to do, and we can have it corrected before we got to the council meeting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So do I have a motion to defer the February 16,
No,
2000?
Can't we just not
Second.
approve them? Call for the vote.
I thought the motion was on the table to defer it to the next meeting
sorry. Who
on
motioned it?
correction.
Johnston has
Oh,
a
I'm
motion
sorry. I
on the table
apologize,
to
Craig.
defer.
Corrected a second time?
So I have a motion by Councilman Johnston to defer the February 16th minutes with corrections to the next city council meeting, which is June
15th.
June 15th, by Councilman Johnson. Do I have a second? I have a second by Councilman Benton, sorry. All in favor?
Nay.
Nay.
Any opposed?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Yeah, but I know
Any
it's not close.
opposed?
Nay.
We have 2 yays, 3 nays. The deferral fails. Mr. Burris, can we place uncorrected minutes into the record if it's so documented?
I mean,
Unapproved?
They're not gonna have any efficacy as evidence for what transpired at the meeting unless you approve the minutes. And, you know, I don't think I've ever run into this. Maybe it's just non-feasance in office, that if you don't approve minutes, you don't approve minutes. You're required to approve your minutes as part of the record. Can you just do it to the next meeting, defer it to the next meeting? Give them redone again?
What, Chief?
Was a vote taken?
Yes, 2 days, 3
Yeah,
days.
2 years.
Right, we haven't. still
Can we
haven't voted.
amend the minutes tonight to have a proper vote on those instances?
Where's it stand on the agenda? Yes, we're gonna amend them tonight, this minute. Bring them back and take them up out of order.
Are the minutes recorded, like a tape recorder, and you go back and listen to them?
So
Right, they haven't approved it.
that's
The
what.
minutes are sitting there in limbo right now.
So what
There
I'd
was-
like
there was
to,
a-
Right, it was just a motion for a deferral that got
Exactly.
printed out.
They're just sitting there in limbo. You haven't done anything with the minutes yet. So you didn't want to defer them, so what do you want to do with them?
We can take-
One day they have to be dealt with,
The
or else
mi-
there'll be a lapse in the public record.
right, so we can take it back up tonight.
And just call for the vote.
And amend, and then vote. Would you Ms. Wheeler, would you assist us in pointing out what the corrections are so we can get it correct and amend it?
Carrie can take the minutes.
Okay.
What do we pay for this?
Ms. Wheeler, would you like to read the amendments to the minutes, the
She has
proper vote? Well, I
There was-
think you have to call it, is all I'm saying, and you handed
No,
it in,
Why
right?
do we continue to pay $300? Why do we continue to pay $300?
So you're making a motion to amend.
Would that be horrible for her?
I don't understand why I'm making a motion to amend these minutes.
To-
Why can't we just vote to either approve them or disapprove them?
Well, you're still gonna have to consider them at some point.
Okay.
Your ordinance says the minutes of the city council it's a mandatory
Okay.
statute.
Okay.
The minutes of the city council shall record all the transactions of the council, but shall not be considered a verbatim transcript of council meetings.
Okay. So I
So
guess
you're
we
under
can-
mandatory duty to record the transactions of the council. So
Okay, so I guess beginning, it starts on page 2.
doesn't say when you have to do it, but you gotta do it.
Okay, so the First Amendment,
I'm trying to figure out the page so I can follow along. On the top, it just says page 2. It says nays, none, motion approved, she continued. Starts with K. Mitchell, 41 Oak.
Got it.
If you go down to a motion made by Councilman Johnston and seconded by Councilman Benton to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the special meeting of January 16th, 2017, the mayor called for the vote as it is, was follows. It has all yays from all 5 of us, but it has nays by Tim and I. Well, how can we vote yay and then vote nay? Right below that, there's
So
another
what-
motion.
so what would be the correct
Well,
one?
I'm assuming it was we all voted yay. I don't know, because
Right.
I don't.
Well, Carrie, there's no way
approve.
you could sit here
Right.
and correct
I
us. Someone has to
understand.
go
That's why I don't
listen to the
understand.
recording.
I can
So-
tell you, I probably did not approve these minutes, because I think I've made it very clear that I will never approve minutes from this day forward, or back then. So I would probably think the yays, again,
So
how
can-
am I supposed to
so-
amend this? I don't know.
Right.
so,
In approval of the minutes also, it says Councilman Johnston motioned. I wouldn't vote nay if I motioned for it.
so, you could.
Well,
That's why,
I could.
sense.
that's why can we,
But if it's
if we're
dispense,
not
if it's
comfortable,
dispense with the
I
minutes, I
don't,
would.
I don't,
can we defer still? No matter what,
No, it wasn't.
city attorney Burris, it's still defer in essence.
Right.
because
Even if
it's
we
in
vote it
limbo,
down,
it
it
has to
goes
come
back and it
up.
comes back to us anyway.
It still has to come up and have a vote on it. So even if there's not a motion on the table to defer, it in essence will be, correct?
After on your back on that.
Okay. So, I don't think we need another motion. Madam Clerk, would you please put approval, reading of the minutes and approval of the minutes for the February 16, 2017 on the June 15th agenda? Thank you.
Well, if it's not approved, if it's not deferred, we would have to vote it down, then it would have to come back up.
But I'm asking her to put it on the agenda.
But it hasn't even been voted down yet.
Yes,
No, the
it was
deferral,
voted.
the deferral was
The
voted
deferral
down.
was voted down, okay. Do I have a motion to proceed with the approval of the minutes then?
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnston, seconded by Councilman Bodier of February 16th. All in favor of approving?
Nay.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
We have 0 approval, and we have 5 nays. The minutes are
was
not
voted.
approved, and Madam Clerk, please put it on
It
the
happens. It happens.
the June 15th meeting.
Let me interject something here. You know, even though nobody's asked for my opinion on it. I'm reading the Lawson Act, and here's your official record is kept in this manner. A proposed ordinance, and really ordinances are the only thing that you really have to have these minutes for. A proposed ordinance shall be read by title when first called for final passage. The vote on the ordinance at final passage shall be taken by yeas and nays, and the municipal clerk shall enter the names of the aldermen voting for and against each proposed ordinance or amendment on the municipal minutes. So, doesn't say who has to take them, but the indication is that the official record is what the municipal clerk takes down as a vote by yeas or nays by name. So, and you do that, Nicole?
Maybe we should ask Nicole, our city clerk, to take the minutes.
By law, though, it doesn't relinquish someone of
If I were a lawyer suing over a Harahan ordinance, the first place I would go looking for the vote is in the municipal minutes by the municipal clerk.
So then the clerk should take the minutes.
Well, here's...
Because
here you-
where,
we
why,
can-
why
we can-
would, but listen, Gilbert, why would the city, right, pay someone an additional sum of money to do accurate minutes of a meeting, not verbatim, but accurate, and then them not be correct, therefore the clerk to go correct them to ensure for correctness?
I
mean,
think
that
that...
just doesn't even make any sense.
Well, I think that
And we just did a circle.
Exactly. And it would be, and now that I'm reading this, it's the tumblers are falling into place. If the clerk takes the minutes and certifies the votes as accurate. If she says, okay, I've read these over, this is the right stuff, puts it in the municipal record, that is good enough for me as a lawyer. I would take that to court because it complies with what the Larson Act requires.
So it doesn't require an approval?
It doesn't, this is her job as the municipal clerk to certify this. What you guys have been doing from time immemorial, apparently, you know, I've read the minutes, and it's like a narrative of who said what about what, and it's superfluous. And
I can only do what I'm directed to do.
well, the law's directing you to do it, Nicole. So.
But come on, Mr. Burris, come on. Welcome.
So that's if I were suing over this stuff, this is where I would look. I would look to see what the official record is as kept by the municipal clerk. And, you know, it's nice that you have all this extra stuff and, you know, everybody yelling back and forth and saying, I want this on the record. But, you know, the law requires that the official document be kept by the clerk and be certified by her.
So do we just clarify that we do not need someone to take meeting minutes? Therefore, the city does not have to pay an additional sum of money to take meeting minutes, and the clerk is responsible for the vote, to document it. Is that what we just said?
I would say, well, if you want a verbatim transcript, your ordinance should say the verbatim transcript will be this, that, or the other.
Is the video.
Yeah.
That we pay for also.
So
We have a little
that's-
bit of redundancy here.
Well,
So it's her
that's-
job to keep the vote, and we pay someone to video.
It's her
I think
job
we're
to
good.
enter the names of the aldermen voting for and against each proposed ordinance or amendment on the municipal minutes.
Okay. I'm good. We can figure that out.
So Mr. Burris, are you stating that we do not have to go through the dispensing of the reading of the minutes or the approval, that once Nicole can enter the minutes herself?
Well,
She
look,
secures the vote.
This is section 421 of the Larson Act. The clerk shall keep a book to be labeled municipal minutes, city of blank, or town or village of, as the case may be, in which he shall record the proceedings of the mayor and board of aldermen and keep the same fully indexed alphabetically so that all entries on the minutes can be easily found. The clerk shall be the custodian of the municipal seal, which each municipality shall adopt and provide. So, there you
So we don't even have to put this on the agenda?
there you have it.
Okay.
I don't, you know, this approval of the minutes thing is it's not even provided
Time and-
for in the Harahan Code
Correct.
of Ordinances.
So we no longer will take meeting
So we don't need
minutes.
anybody to type our minutes at our meetings.
Disney World's clean.
That's up to you. Let me put it this way. The law calls that precatory. If you like having it done, you do it.
But you
Just-
mentioned something about that Nicole would have to certify it. So Ms. Judy would type it. Nicole would then have to go over
Check
and
it.
double check to see it was correct. Then she has to sign it and take full responsibility that it's correct.
In legal terms, whether that's a delegable duty, whether she can delegate that task, I would say it's a ministerial function and that she could probably delegate it. But it's her certification that makes the official record.
Well, I think if I'd be certifying a document, I'd be typing those minutes myself.
But remember, that's primarily for ordinances, which are the legal thing. All the rest of it is nice to have, but the thing that's required is that the ordinance votes be recorded and kept and indexed.
But say this is on the actual ordinance that reads how the agenda is supposed to read.
Mhm.
So we would have to go back and amend that ordinance to take it off, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, you've added that, it's superfluous, it's added in your order of business in the municipal code, but it's not required by the Larson Act.
What about the municipal clerk is to furnish the official journal within 20 days after the date of any meeting, a copy of the minutes?
Where's this from, the Larson Act or other state law?
I mean, I advertised it.
Let me go look at it. This is, where'd you find this? This is in the, This package, yeah, this might be specific to a particular kind of ordinance. Because what they've cited there is the Louisiana Constitution, which I don't think is that specific with municipal, yeah, it's in the LMA handbook, yeah, that's not specific as to what your job is under the Lawson Act.
Wait, what's that? Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
So is there a question for me?
No.
Yeah. I have one
So-
question. Being that it's on ordinance, how the agenda's supposed to read, we can't just not do it tonight. It's, by our law, we have to do it, correct?
I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
Mayor, can we take a 5-minute recess while he's looking at that?
We'll take a 5-minute recess. Thank you.